Greetings, Guzzlers. This is a Jenever, a Trappist beer from Belgian. Triple ale, so it's a strong one. We're going to cook with it. Better have another sip. We're doing a slight twist, and I've got this from Stefan from the French Cooking Academy again, and this is, rather than coq au vin, this is coq au beer, or to be strictly speaking, because it's not actually a cock, and we'll come to that, it is le poulet à la bière. So you're going to need some chicken. Now, as it happens, all I've got here is a load of thighs. If you're doing it properly, you do it with a whole chicken, a cock. Come to that in a minute. Well, actually, a rooster. A cock is the male hen, the male chicken. But we'll come to that in a minute. But we're just doing this with thighs. If you're doing it with a whole chicken, obviously you've got the chicken, the wings. The thighs, the wings, the breast and everything, but we're just doing it with thighs. So put that to one side. You're going to need your Trappist beer, about 750 ml of that, so I haven't got much more of that to drink. Some gin, some juniper berries, some cloves, some thyme, some brown sugar, 2 shallots, about 5 or 6 button mushrooms, about 150 grams of lardons, if you like. If you're not doing it with the whole chicken, which we're not, you're going to need some chicken stock, some bay leaves, a small amount, it's not got a lot, of double cream, some parsley, a bit of flour, and about 20 grams of butter. The poulet à la bière. I've got my chicken, and we're just going to season it with some salt and some fresh ground pepper. Now, this imparts obviously different flavour to your coq au vin, as it were. And the other thing I'm going to do, I've got about 3 tablespoons of flour here. We're just going to give it a little bit of a light dusting. But the beer adds a completely different flavour to the chicken. To the, than you would get with a coq au vin, and also by using just chicken rather than a rooster, which is the traditional thing. Just wash your hands a minute. Again, you get different flavours as well, because traditionally you used a rooster, and that was a male chicken. However, you'd have to snip. It's almost impossible, certainly in England, to get roosters. Okay, so you're going to sort of miss out a little bit on that flavour. Oops, a bit overboard on that. You're going to use more of the flour later, but for now we're just giving that a bit of a light coating. I'm going to set that to one side. You're going to cook this in a Dutch oven. Now you can cook the whole thing on the hob, but Stefan sort of claims it's better in the oven for part of it. We're not using chicken breasts, so we can shove it in the oven for about 40 minutes. But if you're using chicken breasts, because they tend to cook quicker than the other bits, we'd be removing them at some stage. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to peel my shallots and finely slice them, okay, because then we're going to start the cooking. So I've peeled my shallots, I've got to slice them yet, but I think we better get the chicken cooking. Now, if you can get like a big sort of slab of baked bacon with a lot of fat on it, you use the fat and render that down, or you can use lard, or if you're not that keen on either of them, you can use oil. So we're going to add a bit of oil. I might use all that. And if you were doing a carcass, you've butchered it, as it were, cut off the pieces, but you keep all the carcass, the bones, preferably cut up a bit. And first thing we do is we get this Dutch oven really nice and hot, and we'd be shoving the carcass in there because we want to develop them flavours. There's my Thomas, there it is. Get down, you bugger. We want to develop those flavours. Now, like I say, we're not doing that, so we're going to use what's the name? Chicken stock. But if you're doing the bones, the carcass, sear it all over in here for about 5 minutes, pull them out, and then we take those seasoned, lightly floured chicken pieces, and they're going to go in there. Now, what we want to do is effectively sort of sear them on both sides for about 4 minutes. We're not trying to cook them. We're just searing the outside, and then we can then move on to building up the flavours. So while that's coming up to heat, I'm just going to finely slice my shallots. The button mushrooms will be quartering them, but we're not doing them just yet, so I'm not too worried about that. But to be honest, actually, that will be the last of the knife work. So in goes my chicken pieces. I might have to do this in 2 batches. I haven't quite got the room there to do them all. So like I say, we're going to do them for about 4 minutes on each side, just to sear the outsides. And then I'm going to remove them and put them back on this plate, because they'll go into the pot to be cooked in all the beer and everything else. Like I say, you can cook all this whole entire thing on the hob, that we're going to put in the oven. You will also need to grill it at some stage. Stefan's very naughty. He says broil it. He's bloody French and he's in France. Don't talk bloody American. Really? Broil. Right, that's my chicken out. Before I do any more, anything else, I'm now just going to add about 20 grams of unsalted butter. Okay. And we're then just going to put in those shallots. And part of what we want to do here is to deglaze the pan. Okay. So this is where we're going to use gin. Now you can use brandy if you like, but we're flavouring it with, well, it would be traditionally Jenever. Good old George Bishop gin from the Maidstone distillery. Get a bit low on that. So in goes the gin. And we just give that a bit of a, just turn that heat down a little bit, a bit of a stir with the wooden spoon. Some heat coming out of there. Just to loosen up all those nice juicy bits that come off the chicken. Not as much as it probably would have been if we'd had a carcass in there. But we don't want to miss out on any of those flavours. Now we're going to add about half of those quartered button mushrooms. Okay, and we're going to add about half the lardons, 150 grams of that there. Okay, and now we're just going to cook that through for a little bit, try and get obviously those lardons reduced down a bit. And you may have noticed my glass had changed because obviously I need all that beer. The wife didn't buy an awful lot of spare. And then I couldn't find a bloody French wine. I thought I'd go out for French wine anyway. But I did found one. We've got this Malbec from the Cahors region. Not so sure I'm that keen on that one. We did many years ago when we used to regularly holiday in France, visit down in the lot a little vineyard and bought some cloves, and that was excellent. That was lovely stuff. Bought a case or two of that. That disappeared long ago, but that was really nice. Quite so sure of that one, although it does say it's Malbec rather than just straight Cahors, but knowing me, I'm saying that it's probably that's exactly what a Cahors is, but I don't know. So we're just going to cook that for a bit, get that lardon cooked. Now, if we were cooking with all the bits and everything, like I've just earlier said, we would now start building up layers. We'd put the carcass bits on the bottom, then the bits like the thighs and that with the bones in, and then the breasts on top. But we ain't got to worry about any of that. And the reason you put the breasts on top is because they're coming out before you give it the main cook. But we ain't got to worry about that because we ain't using it, we're just using thighs. So, and the other thing is you've got to be careful about your beers that you put in there. They want to be nice and flavoured. Okay, like I say, these are triple ale they call it, triple strength, but the alcohol will just all boil off. But it's getting the flavours out. And apparently you don't want to use lager. What I'm going to add, just before I put that chicken back, is the stock pot, because like I said, because we haven't used all the carcass, we haven't got an awful lot of chicken flavour there yet. So, now I haven't made that up with liquid because we're going to be adding liquid in very shortly. Okay, so I'm just going to sort of try and break that up a little bit. And now, this is where we're now going to add back in that chicken. And like I say, if we were doing the whole thing, put the bones and that at the bottom, then the bony bits of chicken, if you like, if you're with me. Let me just move that wooden spoon. And then the breasts on top. Simply because you need to remove the breasts so you don't have cooking. Now I know that's mainly oil, but there's also some flavour in there, so that's going in there. Move that over in, got some other in this. Now, I want that again. I'll just put it there for now. We now want our salt and pepper back, and we're just going to season it again, and then we're going to want the remaining flour. So about 2 tablespoons if we've used one. We're just going to, and this is to help thicken the sauce. Now the sauce isn't meant to be like really runny, and although we will be adding some double cream, the idea is it's not a cream sauce, it's a beer sauce. And this is where now the beer's going in. Is that right? Yeah. Put the beer in. Now, that's going to foam up initially. Now, you can do a similar one with cider. Right, that's nice and foamy, isn't it? I'm waiting for it to go. That's a bloody mess of me. Now, so that's about 750 ml of beer. Now you can add more if you wanted to, but like I say, it depends on how runny you want the sauce. You don't really want it that runny. Okay, we're just letting that foam subside a bit, and then we're going to add the spices. Now, like I said, we're adding some cloves. Okay, I've got about 5 cloves there. I've got is it a teaspoon or a tablespoon? Teaspoon of juniper berries, because we want to enhance that juniper flavour. I've got the sugar. How much did I say of that? Was it 50 grams? Yeah, 50 grams of sugar. Now, this is because traditionally this would be apparently made with a spiced bread. And Stefan says about using the sugar to replace that, although I was reading some of the comments earlier with his video, and people were saying, well, actually, to be honest, if you're replacing spiced bread, it's not just about putting the sugar in there for the sweetness. You should be adding stuff like cinnamon, but you don't do it. And then we put in about 4 bay leaves. Now, I've put a couple of extra in simply because these bay leaves are dried bay leaves. They're usually fresh. Okay, and we're just going to give that a gentle mix, and then the final thing is we add a few sprigs of thyme. Now, we're going to bring this up to the boil, as such. Let me put that there for a minute. And then when we've done that, we'll put a lid on it, and we'll put it in the oven, and we're cooking it through for at least 40 minutes. If you've got chicken breast in it, take it out after 15, remove the chicken breast, put it to one side, and then put the lid back on, put it back in again for about another 30 minutes or whatever, 20, 35 minutes. So at this stage, all you've got left is the rest of your lardons, the rest of your mushrooms, your double cream, and you'll want some flat leaf parsley to sort of at the end. Right, so that's out of the oven now, and I've now put the grill on. Okay, but I'm just going to remove that lid. I'm just trying to keep remembering, fucking hot, it's been in the oven, Dutch oven. So, to be honest, I think that's cooked. It seems to be boiling an awful lot. So all I'm going to do at this point, he says accidentally touching top of that bloody thing, is I'm going to remove my chicken. Now, if I'd removed the breasts earlier, I'd be adding these to the breasts. Okay, and we're also going to remove things like the thyme. I'm just going to put that, and the bay leaves for now. I'm just going to put that there, and then once I've got these here on the tray, they're going to go under that grill, and we just want to sort of like crispen up the outside, if you like. And then we're going to be wanting to reduce that stock, or sauce if you like, down. So, just going to see if I can get the other bits and pieces out. And oops, I just found a bay leaf and I've lost it. Come here, little bastard. Ooh, there it is. Right, so let me get that under the, we'll get rid of that first, get that under the grill, and then we'll start on this. Now actually I can start on this already. What I'm going to do is we're going to whack this up on high heat, and we want to get reducing that down for at least 5 minutes. Okay, but we want to get this so that if we dipped a spoon in it, it doesn't just run straight off. It's spoon coating consistency. I think that's going to be more than 5 bloody minutes. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to take my sauce and I'm just going to sieve it through into saucepan. Okay. Because we don't really want all them cloves and things like that biting into them. And I know you might argue it's a bit of a waste there with the mushrooms and the bacon, but remember these bits are just there for the flavour. we've still got some more to do there. So I'm now just going to put that back on the heat. Right, let me transfer that before I make a bleeding mess everywhere. I'm going to put that back on the heat, nice high heat, and I'm going to add a couple of spoonfuls, a couple of tablespoons if you like, of double cream. Now, like I said before, it is not a cream sauce. Whoop! Don't you dare make a bleeding mess, you little shit. So we're not after making it creamy, we're just after helping it thicken up a bit. Of course, that double cream is thick, isn't it? It's like butter. Now, we're now just going to reduce this down to, like I say, we want this to be now a nice thickish sauce, one that when you sort of dip your spoon in it, it sort of adds a bit of a coating to it rather than just running straight off. And then, apart from swing one, I'm going to chop my parsley up. I've got a generous handful of parsley there. And then you're going to need another pan. And I could have left that all in that one pan and saved from washing up. But I think the sauce will look better like this. I don't think Stefan strains it, but there you go. So, I'll put that on for. Oh, I know it was. Could be chickens under the grill. Let me have a look. See how we're doing here. A couple more minutes. You can remember that one. So the chicken's out. That's just resting there for a minute. I've moved my sauce to the back and just turn the heat down now. It's gently simmering away. So the next thing is we're going to put on a reasonable heat another pan, and I'm going to start by taking the rest of them bits of lardons, and we're just going to, he says, almost touching that thing. We're just going to fry that up a little bit just to get a bit of fat out, and then I'll be tossing the other mushrooms in there. I've chopped my parsley, chopped my wine off. So when this is nice and golden, and perhaps the butter lardons a little bit crispy, we'll assemble the dish. So I'm going to do it in these bowls. We put in sauce, we put in the chicken, we then add some of the lardon and mushroom garnish, and sprinkle a little bit of parsley on top, and that will be our finished dish. But at the moment I'm just waiting on this fat to render down a little bit, and that's still nicely boiling away, and it has the seal of approval from Her Majesty, the wife, the boss, who earlier came in the kitchen, finally haven't got out of the bath and down around bloody right now, and goes, oh, now that smells really nice. Didn't taste it yet. That's all the heat off. This is started to cook up. The sauce is reduced down. So what we do, like I said, is we take some of that sauce. Turn the heat on, I've turned it off. And we're going to add some of that. Let's taste this a minute, see what's like. Well, made a bloody mess. I know I bloody do that. You bloody half bastard. So, don't you do it for me. So that's the sauce. Let's have a little taster. See what that's like. Does sort of coat the spoon. So, let's see what it's like, he says, without trying to make a bloody mess everywhere. Ooh. Definitely sort of getting that beer, having tasted the beer, I'm getting that beer through. I'm thinking, I'm getting the clove as well. That's nice. Right, so this is cold because I already picked this up. Next thing is we're now just going to transfer our chicken into that sauce. Skin side up, crispy skin side up. He says trying to drop it everywhere. 3, 4, 4 each. Just put that there. That's that finished with. That's that finished with for now. And then, like I say, our final little touch is we're now just going to add garnish of those lardons and mushrooms. That's going to need to go in the dishwasher, that bugger. And then finally, we'll give it a little sprinkle of parsley. And there is ready for tasting our poulet à la bière. I'm just going to get that lardon off the floor before I go arse over on it. So time to do a little bit of a taste. I'm just going to put that down a minute while I try and get a bit of chicken off. Because if I'm holding it in my hands, and also that one thing's getting very warm. Would be easy if I had a bloody knife as well. And there we go. A bit of chicken. Dunk it in that sauce. Get a mushroom. I think the juniper and the clove comes through quite strongly, but also so does the beer. The chicken's nicely cooked. Just lost a bit. I had a bit of chicken there. Where's it gone? Oh. Sauce is nice and rich. A little bit creamy, but not too creamy. Definitely a winner. Probably better with a nice crisp white wine, cool white wine. Couldn't find a French one. But there you go. The poulet à la bière. Chicken in beer.